Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe, brought to you by Entrigue magazine. I'm your host, Keri Singleton, and today we're back with my brother from another mother, Mr. J.D. Williams, on the show.
Thank you for having me again, back. Brother.
Or we're wearing the same clothes, so they know that we need. It's not like you went anywhere.
It's all right.
Part two
it's all right.
Of our interview. We talked last week about all of the iconic roles that you played from The Wire, Oz, and even your cameo with Mariah Carey in her music video. I want to talk to you now about what JD is doing today. So BMF is a series where you play Jay Pusher. It's a crime drama. Talk to me about that.
Oh, well, I think, you know, BMF, the reputation precedes itself, you know, Black Mafia family, you know, all of them, Big Meat, Southwest Tea, so forth and so on. For those who don't know, it's a TV show produced by 50 Cent. It's on Stars. It's about, you know, their life.
Right.
Based on it, you know, as much as they can, I would guess. I believe that was last year was the 3rd season, so this is the 4th season.
Okay.
And I started last year. This year they got me in it.
Nice.
Got a lot more to do.
Yeah. You gotta be excited about that.
I can't give away a lot. That's one thing I don't really.
You don't get excited?
No,
well, I know you've been doing this for your entire life, but.
Nah, I just be thinking about the next thing all the time.
Okay.
And then by the time it comes, I'll be done forgot. And then somebody hitting me, and I'll probably be working on something else.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the thing. I really never really give myself enough time to
enjoy it.
Yeah, to stop and say, oh, snap, what you doing? You know, but I do appreciate it though. Like if I go back and look at my stuff, it's usually just to study real quick and see what I did right or wrong. But yeah, BMF, catch me this year. I'm going. It's gonna be a good season, I think, and especially with all of the nonsense that Fifth and them going through right now. So we should have all eyes on us this year, and I think that's gonna be great. And also, I did right before that. I just finished up this series called Saints and Sinners, and we did 6 years on that, which I didn't even think it was gonna go that long. That was crazy.
That's nice.
Clifton Powell, Vanessa Bell Calloway. You know, a great cast.
Absolutely. Shout out to Clifton Powell. He's a great human being.
Yeah, that was my dude. And what was dope about Saints and Sinners was I got to, it was more like a soap opera. So we got to do all of this melodrama. I'm talking about people coming back to life. You got twin family members and, you know, people getting buried alive in front of a church. Like all kind of crazy.
So you got to really use your acting chops, seriously.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, when you're doing melodrama, that's when you don't have to act. Because you're just going off. You're just going nuts. You like, what? And you know, everybody know that this is some nonsense. But y'all just having such a good time being crazy with it. And as long as the audience is loving it, you know, that's what give you. Because sometimes I would look at the scripts and be like, really? Really? But if the audience like it, and they be like, yo, it's like crack. And I'm like, yeah, it is like crack, because y'all just keep coming back looking at it. But yeah, I did a nice amount of work down in Georgia in the last, 5-6 years. Okay. But Saints and Sinners, BMF right now, and a couple other things floating around.
Don't take my job.
Oh, no.
I got stuff here.
It's a couple other things floating around.
Yeah, I also want to talk to you about the fact that you do some coaching. Acting coaching.
Yep.
Acting coaching, yes. So how did you decide that you wanted to take your own talents and gifts and share them with aspiring actors and actresses?
Well, I'm arts high, and having partners all those years, it kind of teaches you how to communicate. And then I also direct and I write too. So usually when I'm on a set, particularly like one of my little sets that I'm working on something or somebody's indie set, I usually end up helping to coach the actors or co-directing or, DPing or something like that anyway. And so just me sitting around and, people always asking me, would you teach, would you coach? And in the right place, in the right, with the right situation, I certainly would. And I was actually gonna start a bigger class right before we got hit with the C-19. But then now we can't all be in the same room.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then nobody had money.
Right, exactly.
so
right,
you know, but you know, as we get back to normal and I get more time and I start to think about it more and more, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy coaching and I enjoy teaching.
Do you find that when you do teach and when you do coach, that some of the students really grasp very quickly to your techniques?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, some people definitely already have an idea of what they want to do. It's just like kind of just like I said, it's a refinement. It's like I always say, you know, acting is a discipline, and I always compare it to, you know, whether it's a martial art or playing an instrument or whatever. It's like obviously the more you practice, you're gonna get more efficient at it.
Right.
But also, you know, you might come up with your own style. You might come up with a brand new technique that somebody else did and never used.
Right.
You know, so it's about always reiterating it, you know, and that's what I've always done, you know. So as I learned to do theater acting, and then once I started directing, I started incorporating all of these different things, like with this right here with a camera, with a television camera, just one eyeball. So you act to that eyeball.
Right.
I might be talking to you, but I'm going to be acting
to that
this way.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing that way.
Right.
But now if we're on a stage in front of hundreds of people,
you have to be able to pivot.
I have to not only
No,
I'm gonna play to you. However, I have to be aware that these people are here. Like they have to hear me. When I have a chance to open up and show them me, I have to take that chance. I have to be clear. I have to make sure I'm where you need me to be so that we can be there. So it's just all of these different disciplines in acting. Commercial acting is different. Commercial acting, I'm trying to sell you something.
Right, exactly.
So I'm smiling, I'm being pleasant. There's no cursing.
Right.
You know, there's no threatening in
no
it.
threatening
So,
posturing.
So it's commercial acting, which is modeling. Modeling is commercial acting. Then you got voice acting, you know, which is totally different.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, because voice actors, they sound really big. They talk like this, but you can't. If you looking at me, I can't act like that.
Right.
Like my voice has to be big so they can draw around it and bring the emotion to the voice. But when we talking in real life, I can talk as subtly as I want.
Right.
You know, you can look at my face and all this other cues that you get.
Right.
And then you got theater acting, which, you know, obviously we talked about this on the stage. And you got cinematic acting, which is, you know, so you got all these different forms. And like I said, it's all different disciplines, and it's just a matter of knowing, like, you know, am I doing Muay Thai today?
Right.
You know, am I doing Capoeira today? Whatever it is, you know, you just got to be ready for whatever that discipline is.
And you just gave us a free segment of your class.
That was. But I get deeper into it in the class.
You have to charge me then. That's what I'm saying.
I get deeper in the class.
This wasn't in my cards, but I have to. I'm wondering, who are some of your favorite actors, living or dead? If you had to pick 3 male, 3 female, favorite actors, 3 and 3.
And you know what? I just thought about this question last week, and I had a answer, and then I forgot it. But I remember I had Don Cheadle.
Okay.
I mean, I was Don Cheadle, Sam Jackson, Regina King, and Don Cheadle, Regina King. And the reason it's so hard is because it's like so many, you know, that I would love to work with. You know, like I would love to work with Mel Gibson. Yeah. You know, like it's somebody, and it's all about kind of comparing chops also, you know, like if I want
off of each other.
Yeah, you know, you know, I wouldn't mind working with Jackie Chan, you know, so it's a lot of actors for different reasons. Right. That I would like to, you know, work with them. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, you're gonna hit your Denzel. Right. You know, you like, you know, you gotta, you know, your regulars, you know, your Angela Bassett, you know, and like I said, and who else I'm thinking? Maybe Helen Mirren. She seems real cool.
Another great actress from Newark that doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, for her acting is Queen Latifah. I'd love to see you two work together somehow and do something.
Call her. Tell her.
Well, she's another person I've always wanted to interview. So best believe if I get to speak to the Queen, first thing I'm going to do is pull you two together. But I know that that's a fellow Newark resident of yours.
Yes,
somebody that I know that you really respect.
Well, we both Newark East Orange kids, you know, and Newark East Orange, Irvington.
Yeah,
all of us, you know, that's our space. But yeah, she definitely is a queen of Essex County, Jersey queen.
That's right.
She just came up last week to celebrate her birthday.
Right, yeah,
So that was.
and you was there.
Shout out, yep. Happy birthday, queen. She, Equalizer's still going strong as far as I know, right?
She's one of the best.
So I would love to, you know, get a chance to work with La, you know, when I get a chance, definitely.
In May, this coming May next month, Wire It Differently with the cast of The Wire in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what that's going to be like, because that's like a reunion for you and the cast, as well as a celebration for your fans down in VA.
Well, yeah, you know, well, people always asking, you know, is the show coming back? Are they going to do some type of reboot or this, that, and the third?
I don't like reboots myself.
Yeah, nah, they can't. And the thing is, you know, and the thing is, it's going to be kind of up to us and the fans to really, you know, be doing the commemorations. So I think, was it last year? I think it was either last year or year before last. It was like the 15th or something like that. One of our anniversaries.
Yeah.
It was last year. But we only got I think we did one little celebration together. And we just been telling each other, shout out to all my Wire brothers. Trey, Haas, Maestro, even though you up here acting up. Julito, you know, all of my Wire brothers that's out there, you know, Duquan, I'll call him by his real name, I'm bugging out. I'm tripping. All my little boys, Nathan, it's too many to name, you know it, but all of my boys out there, and we've been talking about getting back together, and the audience just likes to see us progressing, you know, because one thing is that, you know, as deep as the show was, as far as the cast, like, you can't really have a show without one of us on it.
Right, exactly.
You know, and you ain't gonna have a hit show without one of us on it.
Right, exactly.
I'll tell you that right now.
Collective.
To have a hit show, you have to have somebody from The Wire on it.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I don't care what you're doing. If somebody from The Wire ain't on your show, it ain't popping.
Right.
I'm telling you right now.
Right.
So, but yeah, we all be running around, working hard, and like I said, you get to see all of us somewhere at some point, at some time, and that just goes to speak to, I think, the talent pool. Yeah. You know, so.
And so, what's going to be happening? Is it a panel? Are you all going to just be talking to your fans down there in Virginia?
Yeah, we're going to show up at the function. We're going to show up at the function, have a good time, probably throw a couple back. We're going to sit up, we're going to answer a couple of questions, and then we'll come down and probably sign some autographs, take some pictures, do a little dancing. Yeah. You know?
that's going to be
because it's VA, because, you know, VA now. Yeah. Now, I know it's going to be some good food down there. I know it's going to be some beautiful women.
Exactly.
You know, I know we're going to have a good time. So, you know, just a matter of doing that, you know. Home of what? Home of Chris Brown, Pharrell, Pusha, Timbaland, Missy.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we're going down there and have a good time.
What more can I say is your radio show on A Squad radio show out in Newark. Yes. Shout out to Big Zay, I'm very familiar. Which is how I was able to finally track you down and say, hey, here's a picture. Hey, hey.
He told me.
Before we go to break, what's up with the radio show?
Oh yeah, well, you know, I've been down in Georgia for the last, well, I don't know, what, 4 or 5 years or something like that. Now I'm coming back home for a little while, touching base, and touch base with Big Zay over at A Squad Rebel Radio. He said he got a spot for me to, you know, come on if I wanted to do some type of casting or podding or vlogging or whatever. He got the setup, you know.
A beautiful setup.
Yeah, nice radio station with a bunch of other talent and, you know, a good name. And I said, yeah, this would be a good place to, you know, just, you know, do it professionally and do it settled. So came up in there and they let me get my joint off. It's called What More Can I Say? With J.D. Williams. That's the title for now. Yeah. But we've been going, this is our first month. Yeah. And I'm going to be just kicking it up there at home for a while. You know, you're going to see me with some guests. And yeah, we're going to see what we could get going over there.
Yeah, man, I'm proud of you, man. I did radio for 10 plus years just before launching Sessions Cafe last year. I did radio for 10 years, and it was a blessing. It gave me the opportunity to be able to do TV. And it gave me an opportunity to meet so many people, including Zay, including Kalia Clark, and other great people. It's a great networking experience, interviewing people. Obviously, you get to know them. You get to learn from them. I feel like it's an opportunity to share and I watched one of your episodes. And oh, are you surprised?
I mean, you know, it's brand new. It's
You know?
it's kind of sparse right
Yeah,
now.
I watched
so.
the second one, and
Okay.
you know, you definitely fit well with the microphone in your new role. So
Thank
I know that you'll excel well in that.
Well, I'm gonna get it in there and just get things off my chest every now and then.
Yeah.
But also, you know, if I do it mostly, it's just gonna be mostly for lighthearted fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really in a, you know, internet drama and politics and stuff like
you
that.
don't have to be the Howard Stern or
nah, I'd be there to hurt somebody.
Right, exactly. Just have a good time. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Yeah.
We're going to be back after this break with more from J.D. Williams. And we're back with J.D. Williams here on Sessions Cafe. You got a lot of things going on, sir. A lot. Hot Stage 2025. You're a co-host out in Elizabeth, New Jersey. That's on June 12th. What's going on there?
You know, like I said, I'm just at home, just touching base at home right now. So everybody that I work with, everybody who, you know, my people that got their businesses and doing promotion or whatever, I got to get back into that space and touch base. So I'm flowing through everybody's, you know,
Events
functions.
and stuff.
I'm just touching base. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you're in the tri-state area, especially the Essex County area, you know, don't be surprised if I pop up in your little cafe or your comic book store or whatever. So
Because I saw you at Maria Davis's event. I wasn't there, but I saw you on Instagram. Maria Davis, man, is one of my favorite people in the world. I love that sister. A couple years back, she got this citation up in Albany for state capitol of New York, and she invited me to go with her to just hang out. And it was man, I love her so much, and her Mad Wednesdays events once a month are phenomenal. And I saw that she and Zay were hanging out.
yeah. Well, he invited me, and you know, I've been hearing about Mad Wednesdays since '95.
Right.
You know, when I was too young to even go.
Right.
You know, so for him to just say it out of nowhere, like he was like, "Yo, I'm about to go to Mad Mondays with Rhea Davis. You want to go?" I'm like, "Really?
Yeah.
Still? Yeah, I'll come." You know, and then I come and I see her, meet her, lovely lady, voice still got that same voice.
That voice, yeah.
And just to be at like a classic meeting like that, just something, you know, Mad Wednesdays, like I said,
that's
been
legendary.
around forever, yeah. And she's still putting on talent, and
the talent is serious.
Yeah, nah, it was a lot of,
yeah,
it was a couple of people in there that night that was going off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I already know. So you floating around. You definitely hanging out, and I love that, man. We talked about this off camera. Of all of the characters that you've played professionally, what were some of your favorite characters and why? Now, behind the scenes, I asked you to name one. I'm going to be a little bit more gracious and give you an opportunity to name a couple, because I know that every character has a different meaning in your life.
Yeah, they was, you know, like I said, some of them were just fun to play. Some of them, you know, had to be a little bit more serious. But all of them, like, you know, like people, you hear people say it's like picking one of your children, you know. Especially you invest so much of yourself into one, it's hard to kind of dish yourself and say, But I do have characters that I did, like I said, that I ended up loving playing. Like I never got around to loving Kenny Bricks Wangler from Oz, because he was a prick. You know? So he wasn't meant to be like somebody like
that you would like.
Yeah, to put in, but I know that it was something that I still had to give him to spark him, to give the audience that spark, right?
He was constantly pissing off McManus.
But and that was his thing. And then also look, and it was
McManus.
funny. And it was funny because like even the Tom Fontana, shout out to Tom Fontana, creator and writer of Oz. When he wrote in that my character was illiterate, I was like, oh, that's dope.
That's a whole different
I was
spin.
like, finally I get to do something.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? Like instead of just, and I'm like, I get to act like I can't read.
Right.
You know, and then have an arc because of whatever. So
I remember that scene, and you was, not you, but Kenny was so frustrated. It almost happened.
Yeah.
I almost called you Kenny.
It's all right. It's all right.
It was so frustrating for him to have to admit that he had a weakness.
Yeah.
That's what it really boiled down to.
That's what it was. It was a lot of that going on. But yeah, I had an affinity obviously for, that was my first big role, you know, where I had a lot of meat to chew and was around other actors constantly, you know, in that sense.
Yeah.
But then also like Wire, I learned to love Bodie because I started to sympathize with him. I never really sympathized with Bricks. I never sympathized with him. I was just like, let me just try to get him out of this alive.
Right, exactly.
But with Bodie, you could see like, man, you need a better position, bro, because this ain't working out for you.
Right.
And he never was out for looking for somebody to hurt. It just was like, yo, what's my job? What's the job?
What's the job?
You know. But I had a great time playing. I had a great time playing Froggy and Pootie Tang.
Yeah.
Because that was just hilarious. I didn't understand not one thing that was going on. Like, I've never had an acting job where I didn't understand what I was doing. But it was so far off that I was like, you know what? I don't know what's happening. So I'm gonna just do what's on the page. And if y'all say it's right, it's right. And it was like, yo, because I mean, obviously my character was supposed to be kind of straight.
Right.
But I want to at least understand what's the joke.
Right.
I didn't get it at all.
Right.
But then, you know, like I said, just getting a chance to hang out with Chris Rock and Louis C.K. and Lance and all of those OGs that was up there. You know what I'm saying? Like on set, JB and Mario and all of the comedians was there. It was just so cool to be around them. And they recognized me as the little light-skinned dude from Oz. And then I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I recognize me. But they like, yeah, keep doing your thing, little man. Keep doing your thing. So it was an encouraging set. It was fun. Oh, Wanda Sykes. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yo, she was so nice to me. Like, everybody was super, super nice to me, man. And I want to say everybody gave me some nugget of encouragement coming up at some point.
Now, you also have somewhat of a comedic edge, bro.
Yeah, I get it there sometimes.
And is that something you ever thought about incorporating into any of the characters?
Yeah, I do stand up every now and then. Oh, when I get bored, I do stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, or like usually, like I said, if you come and see a play, usually if I'm doing a play, my character has the jokes in the play, usually. And like I said, stand up. And then, you know, sometimes one of the things that people do say about my characters is that, you know, once you stop being afraid or shocked of them, you kind of start seeing they wit or their goofiness. Like even with Kenny, I mean Bodie, when after a while, when you could pull back from all of the drama that's going on around the drug selling, but when you just hear him talk to the dudes around him, you see he always got something slick to say, or you know, something smart or whatever it is. I remember what was the line when they had me first scene when I'm sitting on the couch and McNulty and
you about
Bunk,
to say McManus.
Yeah, McNulty and Bunk walk up on me and they talking to me, and I think it was me and D'Angelo, and the dude says something like, oh, what you say your name was again? And I said, I ain't say shit. Oops, excuse me.
That's hard.
No, I said, I ain't say it. And then he's like, oh, well, you and me and Mr. Ish here. And I'm like, yeah, all right. You know, so it's like, we kind of had the banter. And I got a whole bunch of like little slick remarks they just let me get away with it in The Wire. Like that whole opening monologue, I don't know if it was the second season, or I think it was the third season when they knocking down the towers. And I'm talking about how Poop keep getting burnt by this girl. And I'm talking about how he got his thing fried up like a chicken wing, and he walked like a reverse cowboy. Wow. Like all of that, it was like kind of made that up while we was doing it. I mean, he had wrote some of it, but as we doing it, I'm like, all right, now this is, because that really took me back to school.
Right.
Like in school, like if I'm up on stage and you gave me a monologue, oh, I'm about to break this whole thing down. The audience is going to know this monologue by the time they leave. Right. So that's how, and I love opening up shows too. So I think I got a chance to open up 2 seasons of The Wire, I think. But I love being the first thing you see for that season because that sets the tone.
That's the tone.
And that also means that the writers and whoever trusts you in order to do that.
Right.
You know, so
That's a fact.
that was big for me,
That's
you know, and I'm like, word? Oh, we about to do this.
Wow.
So, you know, like I said, I've been blessed to have enough opportunity and luckily and enough skill to you know just keep it rolling, just keep it rolling.
And also video games, like I don't.
Oh
think,
yeah.
I don't even
That's
think
fun.
because I'm not a gamer. I got a
Right.
a PS4 in my house that's never been touched.
Oh man, let me have it.
Collecting dust. You can have it. You can have it. But well, can you help me understand? Like, what are you, a character in the games?
Oh yeah,
Are you like a cartoon?
man. Yeah, man.
Oh,
Like I
come
said, I
on.
got to do some voiceover work. A couple of them are really famous video games.
Okay.
Let me see. One is called True Crimes: Streets of New York.
They actually made you a character. In
I'm twin brothers in that one.
Okay.
I'm a chubby one and a skinny one.
Wow.
And it's like a whole set piece. Like one of my characters is in a limo shooting down a helicopter. Like video games go crazy.
Wow.
And
yeah.
like in the beginning, it was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. I'm in one called a racing game where I'm the guy teaching the person how to drive,
Wow.
instructional. And my favorite one would be I'm in the Warriors. They did a video game for the Warriors.
Based on the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like one of the I'm a couple of random voices chasing you down in the night, screaming at you. But yeah,
Wow.
I did it. Yeah, I got a chance to do some video games, and
And you're a gamer, so you enjoy that.
and it was the most fun. That's what I would really like to get into just as much as voiceover work. And I also, speaking of voiceover work, I've read 50 Cent's first autobiography,
Okay.
Pieces to Wait. If you go buy that, I'm the voice.
Oh,
reading.
really?
Yeah, I'm reading that book. So
See, when it comes to video games, man, I had an Atari 5200,
me too.
Pac-Man,
Oh, my dad did.
Frogger, and
Dog Pound.
No, I didn't get that far.
Oh no, it's called Dog Catcher. You don't remember Dog Catcher?
No.
Oh, that was that was
I
the
said
jam.
Pac-Man, Frogger, and Donkey Kong.
No Pitfall.
Pac-Man, yeah. And after those 3 games, I moved on with life. You know, I was 12 years old. You know, people.
Nah, after that, that's when the Nintendo came
I
out,
wasn't,
man.
but by then I wasn't interested. By then I was probably interested in, I don't know, climbing trees or climbing
man.
women. I don't know.
Oh well, it could have been climbing women by then. You know, yeah.
Anyway.
Like some tall.
Yeah, because I'm only 5'7", so you're like.
We about the same height. I might got a little one, Jimmy.
I don't know what else to ask you, brother. I'm kidding. I got like 1,000 cards here. Script writing and directing.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you with that? Because I feel like you have done so much as an actor that you're ripe for writing your own script, directing your own film.
For sure.
Where are you with that?
Well, I have a production company, a small production company. It's called Nork Projects.
Okay.
N-O-R-K.
Nork Projects.
Yeah, Nork Projects.
Is it a play on projects like The Projects?
No, I wrote it for real.
Okay.
But it's a play on the it's a play on the word projects as in something you build.
Build, right? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
But you know, people gonna think the buildings,
Yeah.
the bricks. Yeah.
Well,
But yes.
Initially, that's what they were. That's why they're called that.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't know that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Nork Projects.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's called Nork Projects. Have a little film division and a little music division.
Okay.
But that's where all of my projects are going right now, literally.
Nice.
And I write, I direct, and I'm somewhat of a perfectionist in that realm, and that's kind of what takes me so long to really release my own things, because I've worked with a whole bunch of other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's stuff that I've literally written or directed like 90% of it, and I still be like, no, that's you.
Yeah.
Till I do mine.
Wow.
So it's a lot of stuff that I've helped co-produce independently, and you probably see my name on a lot of stuff I helped produce co-independently, and I would say a lot of that stuff I ended up directing a lot of it too. So check out me and Trey Chaney on we got a new Tubi movie called Hidden Lies.
Okay.
So check that one out.
What lessons has a lifetime as a seasoned actor taught you?
I mean, I guess the best thing I could say is like how to deal with rejection or deal with disappointment, which
That's got to be rough.
yeah, I mean, I think it also
This
boils
business,
down
yeah.
to having patience,
Okay.
because somebody could tell you no, and yeah, that can hurt, and it can be scary, and it can bother you, and you can also know that you don't suck,
Right.
but the no still gets to you.
It does.
But if you have the patience, the right one is going to come along. The right job, the right situation. You know, obviously you got, like I said, you got to have that consistency.
That's right.
And the patience to do it. Like I could keep acting, but like, let's say if I fell into like some type of hole, like if I started drinking crazy or something like that, that's not going to help me sustain where it is that I'm going.
Right.
To be ready for when it happens, you know? Like I look at the Disney Channel sometimes, and it'd be like some comedian from Comic View way back in the day, and he's playing like a dad on the Disney Channel now, or whatever, you know. Right. So the pennies that you put in it now, they're gonna accumulate and they're gonna build up, and your reputation will precede you. You know, like whether I end up being like the most dramatic actor forever, at some point, you know, I'm gonna walk in a room and somebody gonna say, "Hey, he don't need audition. You get over here." Or what are you doing here?
Right.
Or because even, and I'm speaking out from experience, because that kind of every now and then that happens now. You know, somebody will say, who can I get? Oh, JD. Hey, JD. Da 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 da. Or I walk in the room and somebody will say, like, as a matter of fact, when I went out for Pootie Tang, it's kind of what Chris Rock said when I walked in the room. He said, because I auditioned for a whole nother part. I didn't audition for that part. I don't even think that part was in there.
Right.
But he just said, when I got to say, he was like, I told him, we gotta have Kenny from Oz in here. So I'm like,
Kenny from Oz.
Yeah, he was like,
right.
I told him that we gotta have you in here. I was like, thank you, man. And it was true, because some people gas you for no, and they don't mean it.
Right.
I would say like maybe a year later, I'm like, I'm in a car, Escalade for some reason. I don't think I'm being taken somewhere, but we going down one of these Manhattan streets, right? And they shooting on that street, and it was when Chris was doing the one about his wife. Well, my wife hates me. Something about it has wife in the title. My wife hates me. Chris Rock.
Everybody hates Chris or likes Chris?
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Chris Rock. The name of the movie was something like My Wife Hates Me or.
Oh, don't ask me, brother.
I can't remember what the title of that one was. But either way, he was shooting that one. I think it was him and Keri Washington, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, he was shooting, and I just. We was, you know, on the side street. My car was in traffic, and I just poked my head out the window, and I said, Chris, or I don't know if I got Lance's attention first. That's Pootie Tang, Lance Kuthar. He was standing there because he writes a lot of stuff. So he turned around and said, "Hey, Lance." He turned, he said, "Hey, JD." He came over to the car, gave me a hug, and then he turned, and Chris is in shooting the scene. He said, "Hey, Chris, look." And then he looked over there, and so when things like that happen, you like, wow, you take the time out to walk over to say hello to me, and he was genuinely excited. Yeah. You know, and that's that good, really, really, really good energy. Like I said, that keeps you going. Like one thing I don't like to do, or I try not to do, is I try not to meet people that I look up to. Okay. I don't mind working with them, but I try not to meet them, because, you know, a lot of times that bring it down. But if I do, I get you. I definitely want to in some way, shape, or form get some of their energy. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So that's the thing, you know. Wow. I think it's about getting that energy off.
This is the least amount of time that I've spent talking while interviewing a guest. I'm just sitting here absorbing all of your knowledge and your words of wisdom, man.
Oh, well, I gab, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had 2 more hours. we might have to bring you back soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah. After we finish, you know, when the BMF come out, call me back. I'll come, we can just chop it up.
Absolutely, man. So thank you so much for being a guest on Sessions Cafe. Thank you for sharing your art and your talent with the world. You're a phenomenal actor. Now that I meet you, I can say you're a phenomenal person.
Thank you, sir.
And the world's a better place, both artistically and organically, because you're a part of it.
Oh, thank you.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's from the heart. No script, no notes. It's right from the heart, brother.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week right here on Sessions Cafe.